Okay, it's 7 o'clock and we're ready to start. So welcome everyone. Thank you so much for coming on. It means so much to me. My name is Esty Shiner and I'm from Colorado. A little while ago, I started Links with a few of my friends, and in honor of my cousin, Sarah Honowitz, who passed away. I am so excited because we have an incredible lineup of speakers tonight, and there's so much need for this. The world needs us. Someone needs you. So without further ado, I'd like to present my friend Sarah Eckstein, who will talk a little bit about Sarah Honowitz. Sarah Eckstein was Sarah Honowitz's best friend, and take the floor away.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much, Esty, for that introduction. I gotta say, I was one of her best friends because Sarah just collected friends wherever she went. She was the type of person that walked into a room and just didn't miss a beat. Just everyone was instantly magnetized to her. She was a person, she was a walking, talking, living paradox because her life was filled with so much suffering and so much physical pain on a daily basis. She had constant doctor appointments and she wasn't able to come to school a lot. Things that most of us took for granted, like walking up the stairs, took so much energy and effort out of her. But yet, she exuded such an energy of positivity. She constantly lived with a smile on her face, and she constantly was out of her comfort zone and was talking to people and asking them how they were. One day she had to school and she had this big, and she to help her bring it in, and I bring it in and I'm like, Sarah, what is this? What's going on? And she smiled at me and she's like, I'm raising money for my uncle Yitzi Horowitz. And she opens up the box, and inside are 100 little plastic water bottles that are bright yellow and have a huge smiley face on them. And it says ALS, always live smiling. She constantly spoke about her uncle and how much he inspired her, how he smiles throughout everything that he goes through. And she emulated that in her short life. She lived so meaningfully, and she constantly, in her most complicated form, she lived with such a simple mantra: to live meaningfully, you live for others. I can't think of a more appropriate program that we decided to start in her honor and in the elevation of her neshama. Links Leadership is a platform to give people, to give to others, and find that leader within us. I'm excited modern day leaders that we have to give us a bit of advice and show us exactly what they do, and to help us with that idea of how to find a leader within inside of us. When we introduced this idea to Rabbi Manis Friedman in the very beginning, he was instantly excited and gave us so much validity to the program and so much good, so many good ideas and so much good advice. So I am so excited. Without further ado, I'm going to pass along the panel to him, and let's see what he has to say.
Okay, now I'm unmuted. Thank you. What you're saying is so correct and so perfect for today's generation. Life has to be about other people. It's absolutely essential. And here's the reason behind it. Thinking of other people and wanting to help others, be there for others, is not something noble. It's not Mesiras Nefesh. You're not going above and beyond the call of duty. It's very basic. It is what life is really meant to be. It's not unusual or special. Because think of it like this. Let's say back in the olden days, a father wakes up his son, an 8-year-old, and says, come, we have to go plow the fields, or milk the cow, or harvest. Why? Why? If we don't do that, we're not going to have what to eat and we're going to die. So it was urgent. And the 8-year-old did not argue. He understood. You can't play with this. If you don't get the seeds in the ground on time in the right season, then nothing is going to grow and the winter is going to come and you're going to starve. It was real. So the 8-year-old didn't mind getting up early in the morning, even when it was cold outside. And even if you hadn't had what to eat the night before, you had to do what you have to do. This has been the way life was lived for almost all of history. We invented a plow. Why? Because you have to, otherwise you die. We invented running water, pipes, because if not, you're going to get sick from a disease and you're going to die. We found medicine. We explored new territories to live in, cleaner places, fresh air. Why? Because you didn't want to die. So all our progress, everything, was motivated by the fear of consequences. You don't want to die. You don't want to get sick. You don't want to cause a war. You don't want to cause a plague. You got to watch out for these things. So you have to do what you have to do. It got us pretty far. Got us to the moon and back. That's pretty impressive. But why did we go to the moon? Because if the enemy gets there first, we could get killed. Today, things are a little different. For most people today, if your father wakes you up at 8 o'clock in the morning and says, you got to get up, why? Why does an 8-year-old today have to get up? You can't tell an 8-year-old, if you don't get up, we're going to die. No, you're not. You see, if you don't get up in time and get your shoes on and catch the bus to school, you're going to miss the bus. Yes. So what? Well, if you miss the bus, you'll miss school. Yeah, so what? Well, if you don't do good in kindergarten, you're going to get left behind. You're not going to graduate high school. You won't get into a college. You don't get into a college, you don't get a good job. If you don't get a good job, you can't pay your bills. You can't pay your bills, you're going to end up homeless on the street and catch a disease and die. That's what you're going to say to an 8-year-old this morning? The 8-year-old will say, you're crazy. You better come up with a better reason for me to get up early, because don't threaten me with death. It's ridiculous. What about religion? Religion has for a long time said, get up and daven, get up and say Modani. Because if not, you're going to go to Gehenna. You're going to go to hell. You're going to burn when you die. You see the pattern? Everything we've done for all of history was because of some threat. You better. you better behave yourself, because you know if you ruin your reputation, nobody's going to want to be your friend, and nobody's going to marry you, and you're going to be all alone, and you're going to get old, and you're going to die. Like, is there no limit to these threats? What would you say to an 8-year-old who was told to put his toys away or clean up his room, and the 8-year-old says, I didn't ask to be born. Why do I have to clean up my room? I didn't ask to be born. What do you think of that? Well, first of all, did you ever say that? Did you ever think that? I didn't ask to be born. Now, that's absolutely true. Nobody asks to be born. In fact, we're told that when the neshama hears that it's going to be born, it gets very upset and it doesn't want to go. We don't ask to be born. Now, is that good news or bad news? Most people think it's bad news. If a child says, I didn't ask to be born, he obviously is not happy to be alive. That's not good. It's not always bad news. If a child is smart enough to know that I didn't ask to be born, you should be impressed. That is a very mature child, because it's so true. So if a child says to his mother, I didn't ask to be born, the mother should say, neither did I. I didn't ask to be born either. And grandma didn't ask to be born either. That's so true. Do you have to be upset about it? No. It's actually good news. Because what does it mean, I didn't ask to be born? Why? Why don't we ask to be born? Because we don't need to. We don't need it. If we needed it, we would ask. But we don't need it. So I don't need to be here. I therefore do not ask to be born. Now, if I don't need to be here, if I don't need this, is there anything I'll ever get upset about? I don't need anything. So what's going to upset me? That I don't have a car? I don't need. I'd like to have a car, but I don't need a car because I don't even need to be born. So see if this makes sense to you. You say to your mother, I need to have something to eat. I need to go to sleep. I need a sweater. It's cold in the room. Is it actually true that you need to eat? Think about this. I need to eat. Why? Because if I don't eat, I'm going to be hungry. So if I'm hungry for a long time, I get a headache. So if the headache gets worse, it could become dangerous. If I don't eat, I can't be healthy. If I'm not healthy, I'm not going to live long. If I don't live long, I'm going to die. It always comes back to that. But today, you can't say that. Today, if you threaten someone you're going to die, they say, I didn't ask to be born. So you better tell me something more interesting and more important, because I am not going to live my whole life just because I'm afraid to die, because I didn't ask to be born. So let me tell you this little story. This bacher went to yeshiva overseas, and it was not good. He couldn't adjust to the yeshiva there. So after a month, he came home. But he came home a mature, intelligent, responsible boy. When he went, he was not so mature, he was not so intelligent, he was not so responsible. Because here's what happened. He came into the office of the yeshiva the day that he arrived, and he said to the mashpia, to the Rosh Yeshiva, whoever it was there, he said, I have to call my mother. Which phone can I use? The Rosh Yeshiva said to him, you have to call your mother? The boy said, yeah. The Rosh Yeshiva said, you have to call your mother. So he thought about it for a minute, and he realized what the Rosh Yeshiva was telling him. I have to call my mother is not true. What should he have said? Yeah, say it out loud. What should he have said? I want to call my mother? No, not true. What he should have said is, my mother needs me to call her. See, that is absolutely true. That's true. In other words, why should the boy, let me adjust the light here a little bit. Why should a boy call his mother? Because he wants to? Because he needs to? That's not a mitzvah. The mitzvah is honor your parents. Do what they need. So what is the truth? The average teenage boy needs to call his mother? Well, maybe if he's homesick or something. But the real truth is his mother needs him to call because she's worried. Now, when a person says, I need to eat, is that true? The reason you're going to eat is because you need to eat? Try not eating. A person decides, no, I don't want to eat. I want to go on a diet. I don't want to eat. I want to fast for the first time in my life. You have to eat. Yes, you have to eat, otherwise you can't live. Well, who did this to you? Who created human beings? You know, like a car can't run without gas. A human being can't run without food. Who designed us like this? Do we even like this idea? I'm like a car. You have to fill me with food every now and then. Otherwise, I can't function. That's embarrassing. Did I choose this? No, I didn't ask to be born. I didn't ask to need to eat or need to sleep or need friends or need to go shopping. I didn't ask for any of this. So why do I have to eat? Because my creator decided that that's how I should function. So he created me this way. So if I would say it correctly, I need to eat? No. My creator needs me to eat. Isn't that more true? Did you ever hear anybody say, okay, I got to go home now, my creator needs me to eat? See, nobody ever says that, but isn't that the truth? Like when you're busy with something, a very important or very fun project, and you're almost finished, you just need another hour, and you can't finish the project because it's time to go to sleep. Do you want to go to sleep? Do you need to go to sleep? No, you need to finish the project. Sorry, you're falling asleep. So I don't need to eat. If you asked me, I would not design myself like this. But what can I do? I'm stuck. So when I do need to eat, it's not me. It's the Eibishter. That's called eating l'shem shamayim. You don't eat because you need to. You eat because that's how Hashem designed you. And why don't you need to eat? Because you don't even need to be here. Before Mashiach comes, everything is going to become true. No more fake news. When the truth is obvious, you know Mashiach is coming. And this truth is becoming obvious. So here's what's happening for us, the first generation of Geula. What's happening is like this. In the olden days, when somebody said, you have to, we accepted it. Yeah, you have to. Usually you have to because otherwise you're going to suffer. Okay? Today, the idea that I have to doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right. What do you mean I have to? And that's why many people are rebelling. I don't have to. You have to keep kosher. I have to keep kosher. I don't have to. Why do I have to? You have to daven. You have to keep Shabbos. You have to. What do you mean I have to? I didn't even ask to be born. How did it become my responsibility? We're asking for emes. Tell me the truth. Don't tell me I have to, because I don't have to. You have to be from. I have to be from? Oh, because otherwise I'm going to die. Okay. You're back with your threats again. No, I don't have to. I didn't create myself. I didn't create the world. I didn't choose to be who I am, where I am, what I am. I didn't choose any of this. Whatever is happening, I don't need. Then who does? Then who does? We want to make this world into a dira b'tachtenim. Do I need the world to be a dira b'tachtenim? I have to make a dira b'tachtenim? Excuse me? I don't have to anything. I really don't. Who needs a dira b'tachtenim? Me? Hashem, the Creator, needs a dira b'tachtenim. You know what? The Creator is the only one who needs anything. If this isn't making sense to you, raise your hand. You build a house and you invite someone to live in it. Who has needs? You or your guest? It's your house. You need it to be safe. You need it to not be broken, to not be destroyed, to not be defaced. It's your house. You have needs. The guest in your house, the guest has no needs. Hashem created the world because he has a plan. That's what needs to happen, not me. So what's happening today is this. Every time I'm told that I have to, I get a little depressed because it doesn't feel right. I shouldn't have to. And if I go for therapy, then I'm told, whoa, you have so many needs you don't even know about. And if I sit down to learn Musar, I find out that even after I die, I'm going to have needs. So there's no escape. Okay, here's the bottom line. Do you know anyone who would enjoy being needy? You know, you have certain friends that are needy. You don't want to spend too much time with them. They're needy. It's no fun to be needy. You know why? Because it's not true. A person who feels needy is like the boy saying, I need to call my mother. No, you don't. Wake up. So here's why you have to be a leader. Because if you're not a leader, then you are needy. Then you're going to think about yourself and your needs, and you're going to get miserable. The only correct way to live is to be needed, not needy. So there's our bechira, there's our choice. You want to have a miserable existence? Fine, be needy. Worry about everything you need. I need this, I need that, I have to go, I must. You're making yourself miserable. But if you think about other people, what do they need that you can do for them? Then instead of being needy, you have become needed. Now, if you think about every mitzvah, whether it's in the Torah or the Rabbanon or it's a minhag, every mitzvah tells you what you are needed for. It doesn't make you needy. And that's why the mitzvah connects you to Hashem. When you do something that he needs, now you're connected to him. When you ask him to give you what you need, are you really connected to him? Or are you more connected to yourself? So let's sum it up. I need to call my mother? Not right. My mother needs me to call her. So what am I? Needed. I am needed. I am not needy. I have to keep Shabbos. I have to keep Shabbos. The only way you can explain that I have to keep Shabbos is by threatening me. Oh, if you don't keep Shabbos, you're going to... We don't like threats anymore. I don't have to keep Shabbos. I didn't create the world in 6 days and rest on the seventh. So why must Shabbos be? Because Hashem created the world in 6 days and he rests on the seventh. Yeah, so what do you want from me? Hashem says, I need you to keep Shabbos with me. Do you imagine a father who's sitting by the Shabbos table? And he knows it's Shabbos, and he's careful about Shabbos, and he enjoys Shabbos, but none of his children want to sit at the table. How painful is that? So a father would say to his children, come to the table. You need to sit here. No, I don't need to sit here. If the father says, come to the table, I can't keep Shabbos by myself. All the kids would come to the table. Because we really do like being needed. We don't like being needy. That's why you have to think of other people. Thinking of other people doesn't make you a tzaddik. It makes you needed. That's what a human being is here for. Because if not, then you become needy, and that's bad news. So who are the happiest people that you know? People who don't seem to need anything. And I think the best example is if you're home alone and you're going to make lunch, what are you going to make? You'll look in the fridge for some leftovers. You'll open a jar, a can, something. It's boring. But if somebody is coming over for lunch, all of a sudden it's a party. Oh, now you're going to cook up your best dish. You're going to make the most interesting food because now you're needed. That's exciting. That's simcha. When you need to eat, that's just boring. So ivdu es Hashem, if he needs you, then besimcha you will be happy. So what do we do now that we can't leave our house? Does that mean that nobody needs you? On the contrary, because people can't leave their house, now they realize how needed they are. Who misses you? Who needs to talk to you? Who needs to hear from you? Who can use a little compliment, a little attention? Now, making a phone call or sending a text can change a person's life because they're all alone. They think they're forgotten. God forbid. So, what are you going to do? Be needy or be needed? I don't think there's any choice. There's no choice because being needy is so miserable. So now, after all of this, do you understand what it means when Hashem calls Avraham and Avraham says, Hineni? What does Hineni mean? Hineni means, I didn't ask to be born. So I'm not busy. You need something? Good, tell me. I can do for you. You need me? Oh, good. Otherwise, I don't know what I'm doing here. It's an amazing thing when the Rebbe started Miftzah Tefillin. Everybody got so excited. The Rebbe is telling us that we have a job to do. You have to go out, rent a truck, go downtown, get a microphone, invite people. It was a little embarrassing. We're not used to this. Just stop a stranger in the street and ask him to roll up his sleeve. It's so weird. But we got so excited. The Rebbe had a project. We did it. Then the Rebbe says, wait, I have another project. Miftzah Mezuzah. And we said, oh, wow, we got all excited. And then the Rebbe said, no, wait, I have another project. Miftzah Neshek. And we go, oh, wow. And I said, no, I have more. An Ois and a Sefer Torah. Oh, no, now it's Yontif, so no, now Miftzah Lulav and Esrik. You know what the amazing thing was? People were saying, the Rebbe is so original. He's so brilliant. He keeps coming up with these projects. But do you realize how amazing the Chassidim were? Okay, one project, it's exciting. Two projects, that's a little, who has time? 3 Miftzayim? 10 Miftzayim? That's besides the Eis and the Sefer Torah, besides Matzah for Pesach, besides Shalach Monas, besides Lulav and Esrog. How is it that Chassidim didn't say, hey, enough already? Never. We love being needed because it makes us forget about our needs. And that is the greatest thing in the world.
Honest Friedman.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna cut you off now, and I want to say thank you so much. This is incredible stuff. Can we close the remarks so the next speaker can have a few minutes?
We don't have no time for questions.
Is there a way that we can do a follow-up afterwards?
Oh, yep. Okay. Very good.
Thank you so much. Or we could just do this next week. Or we could always come back again.
Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Manis Friedman.
Thank you for needing me.
And I'm sure everyone has much, after hearing you speak, I'm sure everyone has far much more motivation on why actually be a leader. It doesn't have to do about how talented I am, or it doesn't have to do about how charismatic I am. It has to do about somebody else who needs me. And that's more impactful than anything. Thank you so much again, Manish Friedman.
Thank you.